This is Raven Canoyer, number 3 from the women's basketball team, and you're listening to Inside the Hive.
Hello and welcome to Inside the Hive, where it's Yellow Jacket athletics all day, every day. With the fall sports winding down and the winter sports heating up, we have an episode with a mix of almost everything. We will be talking with cross country, football, basketball, triathlon, and volleyball. First joining me is the Black Hills State University athlete that qualified for the national cross country meet, Ziomara Robinson. Zio, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
You had a career best time in Lubbock, Texas of 21 minutes and 3 seconds. What was training like to reach that accomplishment?
Honestly, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of miles.
Ups and downs. Was there some joke supposed to be with that? Or?
I mean, yeah, you could say hills and running on the mic and everything like that, but just a lot of good, consistent training, I have to say. Okay,
so it's just getting out there, and consistency is something that I feel like a lot of athletes need and practice, and that's what makes a great athlete instead of, just someone who goes and works out, once or twice a week. But a great athlete needs to almost every day, twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, just keep on out and going out there. Is that correct in my thinking, or?
Yeah, something like that, and like doing all the little things and just taking care of everything.
I heard someone say like doing all the little things right leads to doing the big things right. Is that something that you would say as well?
I would say so, just like hanging in there.
All right, well, moving on to the national meet that's this weekend. You are the only BHSU cross-country athlete to earn a bid. What does this mean to be the sole representative of Black Hills State University on the national stage?
Well, I mean, it's kind of nerve-wracking, but also really exciting. I mean, I wish my teammates were with me, but I'm really excited to represent them and represent all the work we've done, because you can't do it alone, and all the work that Coach put into all of us and our team.
Right, and so you were also one of the 2 individuals to come from the South region, which there were teams that made it, but you were one of 2 from the South region, one coming from, I believe it was Westminster.
Yep.
And knowing that, does that add to the pressure, or does that just increase your drive to be competitive at the national meet?
I think it's exciting. It's cool that our region is so competitive that they only do take 2 individuals compared to any other region, and just the amount of teams that they do take from the South Central region. So I'd say exciting that I already know what the competition is going to be like, and it's probably going to be the same girls up front, so kind of know what's in store.
What's kind of your thought process as far as being competitive on the national stage? Is there any way that you're changing your training? Is there any way that changed your training, I should say, because it's a little late to change your training right now because you guys leave tomorrow, is that right?
Yep, we leave tomorrow. I would say we're just maintaining fitness right now. The hay's in the barn, basically. I don't know if you've heard that, but not changing anything, just knowing the work's already been done and just embracing it and knowing just trusting the training, basically.
Yep. Trusting in what works is kind of the way it goes. So what are you most excited about going to Florida? And this could be race-related or not race-related.
I don't know. I've never been to Florida, so I'm excited to kind of check that one off the box. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Tampa and St. Leo, where we're going to be at, is really alligator populated, but I want to see an alligator. I don't know.
Have you ever been to Reptile Gardens?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh. If you want to see an alligator, I think they have the biggest one in the world there. Maybe not the biggest one, but either way, yes. So if you don't get to see one there, you can see them at Reptile Gardens.
Okay.
But as far as just the environment, are you excited to get somewhere warm? Because as of right now, it's 30 degrees outside.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the wind won't be blowing there, but yeah, I'm really excited. A little nervous. I've been wearing a long sleeve on the warmer days here just to kind of prepare in case it is a bit warmer and more humid there than here. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Actually, triathlon had to do the same thing before they headed down to nationals. They were training on the pool deck here because it had the heat. It had more humidity, but it had the heat that they were going to experience down in Arizona. So, just using that temperature, trying to heat yourself up or get yourself used to getting hot while you're performing is, I think, really important because, if you're training outside here and it's 30 degrees and you get down there, it's going to be boiling by the time you know it.
Right.
But as far as the race venue goes, what does it look like compared to what you've been training on here in the Black Hills?
Well, I've been talking with Coach, and he said it's a pretty hilly course, but not as hilly as our home course, so that's pretty promising. And it's about, I think it's a loop and a half or something like that, so it'll be nice. The scenery is going to be, I don't know, it's not the same thing over and over again like track. Sounds like true cross country to me.
Yeah, that's good. So anyway, moving from the national meet, you're a junior, but that's with your eligibility. Technically, you're graduating in December. Is that correct?
Yes. So I'll graduate in December with my biology degree, and then I'll begin my master's in the MSIG program in January, and I'll still be competing.
Oh, cool. So you're going to use up that last year eligibility during your master's program.
Yes.
That's very fun. What are you hoping to do after you graduate with your master's?
I'm hoping to keep going. I want to get my PhD in probably heme metabolism or some sort of field in that respect.
Holy cow.
Yep.
Gonna be well trained. I think I'm getting my master's and that's gonna be it. I can't do a PhD.
I like school. I like learning, so.
I like learning. I just don't like classrooms.
Yeah.
Or homework. I think that's the one that really is a bummer for me. So with that, I guess, can you explain what that is? I'm not sure what kind of doctor that is.
So it'll just be my PhD, and I just mostly want to do research with heme metabolism. So basically how your body handles iron absorption, because I think it's a really prevalent issue in like endurance athletes and like women specifically. So kind of hits home.
So it ties into what what you've been doing. That's very cool. I like that a lot. So on my question sheet here, I was going to ask you what your favorite class was, and then I was told that you were taking one class. And so I was like, well, that's not very fair. So in coming up with another question, class-related, I guess what it's going to be is, as far as the academic offerings here at Black Hills State University, we might not be the most specialized, like, say, Colorado mines or South Dakota mines, where they have a very specialized engineering degree, whereas, we're specialized in business and education. What made you want to come to Black Hills State for a biology program?
Well, I do really like how you get to interact with your professors a lot more. I actually transferred from MSU Bozeman, which is a more like science-y school, I guess. So it's like interesting seeing the difference between a lecture hall filled with 300 students compared to one with like 50. You just get a lot more one-on-one, and you really get to build a relationship. And I feel like I know pretty much all of the science faculty, and it's actually really helpful. Nice building a relationship, makes me want to come to class more, makes me stay more engaged, and they actually do care, which is nice. You're not just another body, I guess.
Yeah,
so
you're not
nice.
just another grade that they have to enter. Well, that's very cool. Well, Zio, I won't take any more of your time. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck this weekend, and have safe travels to and from Florida, and we hope to talk with you about some amazing results when you get back.
Thank you.
All right, that was Zio, and we'll be right back with head football coach Josh Bresky right after this.
Your loved ones deserve the utmost comfort when visiting Spearfish. If you're looking for the perfect place to get the family together, the Spearfish Holiday Inn and Convention Center has the most updated and comfortable rooms in town. Make your reservations today at the Spearfish Holiday Inn and Convention Center.
All right, welcome back. We're joined by head football coach for the Jackets, Josh Bresky. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me again, Colton.
Awesome. So, we finished up the football season against Chadron State. What were some of the takeaways from that game, and what are your thoughts on the game?
My thoughts on the game were we had 6 turnovers. We bought into the junk of blaming the officials for the game. Chadron State was playing very dirty, and we bought into that, and it got us flustered, and we were completely out of our element for the entire game. It was very disappointing to see us emotionally just in such a disarray, and that goes for me as well.
You know, that is a tough part. When you get into that flustered mindset, when you get into that just letting people get under your skin mentality, it's just it's an uphill battle. Like it all goes down from there, basically. So just trying to get out of that funk is borderline impossible. So trust me, I've been there, done that. I've seen my production team even, we'll have one thing go wrong, next thing goes wrong, and then all of a sudden we're just fighting to get out of that.
Absolutely.
So I get that for sure. So moving on from this, what does the winter months look like for the football athletes as far as training and getting ready for spring football?
Right now, it's important that they take some time off. I shared that with them. I said, I know you guys are sick of us. We're definitely sick of you guys. Let's get away from each other for a little bit. So they'll have some voluntary workouts here starting up next week where they can go and get a little lift in, but I really don't want to see them, hear from them, do anything with them other than just making sure we're staying on top of their academics until January 10th. January 10th, we'll resume school in the spring semester. NCAA has us, we have to basically take the first 4 days off, the start of the spring semester. Once that's gone by, we're gonna resume with 4 days a week of lifting and getting after it and trying to build some mass in the weight room. We'll be running twice a week, trying to get our legs back underneath us and building towards spring ball, which will take place right around spring break.
Awesome. So with the 2021 season in the books, what are your thoughts on the year as a whole?
Yeah, I think there's some really positive takeaways, and I'll lump in last year with this year as well. So between the 2 games we played last year and the 11 games we were able to play this year, we learned how to fight. I never felt like at any point in the season did our guys quit fighting or quit playing the game. I think we learned how to. We really learned how to scrap. That was evident in our Adams State game, the big comeback that we had at Swarm Days. It was really, really great to see our guys not panic. I think, too, we saw that when we play our best football, we can play with anybody. We have to find better ways to complement one another as far as offense and defense and special teams. It seemed like we had far too many games where defense played well, offense played poorly, and then the offense would play well and the defense would play poorly. So that's the challenge for us as coaches, is to find ways for us to be hitting on all cylinders in all 3 phases of the game. We found our identity. I feel like that we are going to be a run-the-ball team. You look at our statistics from the season. When we concluded this last weekend, we had 55 less pass attempts than we did in 2019, which means we're going to be running the ball a little bit more. Our defense improved, the yards per game that they're giving up on the ground. So we're going to be stout in the run game as well. So finding our identities was really, really big this year. Revamping our strength and conditioning program from last year to this year has been really, really important. And then building our culture was really, really great for us as well. It was great to see our guys adhere to that, lean on that in times of adversity. I feel like we know who we are. We just have to get a lot better.
That sounds good, Coach. Sounds like a great game plan. Moving on from that, this last weekend was Senior Day. What was it like having all of those parents there for the seniors, and how important is it to have them there for the seniors?
I remember when I was a junior, we finished my junior year here at Black Hills State, and for some reason or another, the coaching staff here decided to not host an end-of-the-year banquet, something that we had been accustomed to when I was a player. And I just remember our seniors being extremely burned by that. It really kind of torqued them. They were upset. They wanted to have the opportunity to dress up, to invite their parents to come and have a banquet where they were able to kind of honor their experience and honor their time here, and maybe speak a few words about what this program has meant to them. So I know it's very important for us to have that banquet, to host that banquet, to have senior day, to give them their jersey, to commemorate their time that they spent here. You know, playing college football or playing any college sport for that matter is a huge time commitment. It's been a huge part of these young men's lives for a very, very long time. And it's so important for us to close the loop the right way. It's all about finishing that student-athlete experience the right way. So it was great to see all the parents come out. I think at our banquet on Sunday, we ended up having just over 300 people at the banquet. So it was really, really cool to see people come out in support of our young men.
Yeah, it was a great thing to see, Coach. I mean, when you lined up all the seniors, when you lined them up with their parents, significant others, last week we talked about, watching these student athletes over the years that they work with you. And just to be a part of it is such a great experience for you personally, because you're helping these students grow, not only in their educational sense, in their athletic sense, but, just becoming an adult. Like you said, you saw student athletes going out for their careers. You saw student athletes going after, getting married, proposing to their girlfriends, what have you. So it just when you started taking us through that, it gave me a new appreciation for senior day.
Yeah,
just
it was
because
great to see. We tell our guys, we tell parents when we're recruiting young student athletes that, when we turn your son back over to you, he's going to be a better person. He's going to be a man. And if he's not, he either wasn't listening or we weren't doing our job. So it is very important for us to foster that relationship and build that. It's a huge responsibility as a coach, not just to strive to win football games, but to strive to do probably the most important thing, that's get these young men ready to go out and face true adversity in the world, not just adversity of being down in a football game.
Awesome. Well, Coach, the next time that we'll be talking to you will probably be during signing day. What are the coaches doing now that we'll be talking about then?
Right now, we had a really great meeting yesterday morning to discuss recruiting needs. We had that kind of solidified last week, and then some of our juniors deciding not to come back and graduate and whatnot, we decided to readdress those needs. And from that, we decided that we're going to be bringing in some more transfers, more than we ever have. Since I've been here, I could probably count on one or two hands the amount of transfers that we have brought in. This year, it's going to be pushing hopefully 16, 17, or 18 transfers total on the team. We'll still be heavy on our high school recruits, but we have such a great base of high school student athletes right now. We feel like it's imperative for us to get older and more experienced this next season to give those guys, more of a chance to develop and bring some competition to the football team. So we should be talking, when February hits, about some of our mid-year transfers that we've signed, as well as, numerous high school student athletes from our territory.
Well, that sounds fantastic, Coach, and we look forward to talking to you about that on signing day. And also, thank you for joining us.
It's always great to be here. I love your golden throat. You do a great job with your radio voice, and it's honored to be in the presence of such a great radio voice.
Oh, goodness, don't even. Anyway, that was head football coach Josh Bresky. Stick around, we have BHSU triathlon coach Connie Feist coming right up.
Your vehicle is the lifeline to work and play. Finding your next upgrade can be complicated and expensive. You shouldn't settle for a vehicle at a random sales lot. Choose a dealer who guides you to a better decision. For over 90 years, the people at Junix and Spearfish have helped countless people like you make better vehicle decisions. Click on the link to see what's available, then schedule a test drive to see what's possible with Junix Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram on West Jackson in Spearfish.
This is Inside the Hive, and we're now joined by Black Hill State University head triathlon coach Connie Feist. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Pleasure to be here.
So you just got back from Arizona for the National Triathlon Meet. What was that like?
That was a lot of excitement, a lot of people, and just a great experience all around.
Great. So what were the conditions like? We were talking in your previous interview that you were looking at the heat, and the heat was going to be an issue, and so you were training here in the pool. Did you run into that down there?
We did, Colton. Yeah, on race time, the temperature was about 90 degrees for us. And so we spent most of our pre-race days trying to hydrate, make sure our electrolytes were topped off, and just get acclimated to that type of heat. It's hard to find that in November in South Dakota. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about the conditions of the course?
The course was beautiful, really, really nice. The water temperature was 68 degrees, which is just above what would be wetsuit legal for us, and so we didn't wear wetsuits, which is fine for our team because they're used to swimming in colder waters. And the bike course was somewhat technical, somewhat challenging, nicely done, and then the run course just really played to our strengths. So it was a good race.
So you said your strengths. What are your strengths for the course?
We tend to be a strong running team, and so we need to get out of the water as far up in the pack as we can. We're able to typically, no matter what type of bike pack we get with, we're able to hang with those athletes, and then we count on our running prowess to get us to the finish line in good shape.
Okay, and this race was divided up Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3. What does that mean as far as competition? Do they rank everyone together at some point, or do they strictly say, no, you're Division 1, so we're only going to rank you in Division 1?
Right, yeah.
That's how that works?
That's a good question. So when we race for our national qualifying races this season, we raced D1 and D2 together. So we were all in the same race wave. But when they ranked our athletes, they just ranked against other D2 athletes. And so this is the first time actually that we've ever raced just D2 schools at the national championships, which really kind of mixed up the field a little bit for us. We didn't have those really, really fast D1 athletes pulling a lot of the gals through the bike course.
Okay. No, that makes sense. So what were your favorite moments from this trip?
Oh my gosh.
Could be race related, not race related.
Not race related, it's just how supportive all of these athletes are of each other. They're just a really, really solid team, and they're competitive to an extent with each other, but boy, it's kind of like having an extended family when you see them all get together and cheer for each other. So that's my favorite point outside of the race. In the race, to just see every single one of them, down to the ninth athlete that we brought, have the race of her season, and in some cases the race of her career.
Wow. No, that'd be fun to watch, especially being able to travel that far, which we'll get to in a second, but being able to travel that far and have your career high, or at least the best of your season, especially when it counts at nationals. So being able to watch that, I'm sure, was a very awesome experience.
Yeah.
But it is hard to believe that this finishes up the fall season. For your team, what does winter training look like for your athletes?
Well, they're taking a much-deserved week off. And then we're going to start introducing them back a little bit to just one-a-day training on their own. Even if it's cross-training, cross-country skiing, mountain biking, it really doesn't matter. The point is to maintain the conditioning and the fitness level that they've built up through the winter break. And then when they come back in the spring, we're going to start training. A lot of times it's indoors on trainers and on the indoor track. And we have a pretty big race in Florida in March that we train for as our specific race. And then we're also going to host a triathlon, an invitational on April 24th that we'll have some other collegiate schools here to compete against, but we're going to have an open wave that we're going to have available for the community members or anyone else that wants to come and try their hand at triathlon.
So like me, when I come in and try my hand at it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll have it all set up for you, Colton.
Oh goodness, you better have some paramedics set up as well. So what are some of the highlights from this year now that we get to reflect upon this fall season?
Yeah, when they came in this fall, we kind of had a mixed bag. We had some gals that had competed throughout the summer and came in ready to train. We had some, for whatever reason, didn't get as much conditioning in during the summer, and so they had a little bit harder time, a little more painful to try and build their base up. But everyone, progressed well through our training program. We had 3 freshmen that all made our nationals team, which was incredible, and
That's
they all did
fantastic.
great. So we were just really happy with the progression they made throughout our training this fall, and are looking forward to just continuing it in the spring.
Wow. You mentioned the conditioning in the past, or in our last question, and I was just wondering, so is it hard once, you're working so hard to build up that base that you're talking about, and if you don't keep at it, how long does it take to lose that?
Well, if they don't do anything this winter break before they come back for a spring semester, they're going to lose it. So
Really?
we had to
That
have
quick, huh?
real frank it's 6 weeks,
Wow.
Now, I mean, these are pretty talented athletes, and so they'll get it back a little faster than some people that sat on the couch and ate bonbons all Christmas. But we just want to avoid the pain of
Yes.
trying to get back. I mean, they worked really, really hard to get to the level they're at right now, so let's just maintain it. And like I said, it doesn't take 2-a-day, 4-hour-a-day practices like what we have been doing. It takes doing something.
It takes consistency,
Right,
correct?
that's the key, consistency.
For me, it's like, I'm going to go work out, and I work out once, and I'm too sore to work out for
Yeah.
a week. And so it's just a consistency. And I think that's the
Right.
thing that a lot of people overlook is, we see all these athletes, and they're constantly doing something. It might not be intense, but it's constant, and that's key.
Yep.
So
That's
it's very interesting, and man, just trying to put together my workout plan now. So the team travels anywhere from here in South Dakota, you had down in Hot Springs this last fall, all the way to Virginia this year, and it seems like everywhere in between. How hard is it to travel to some of these places as far as, do you bring your own equipment? Do you do things like that?
Yeah, you really hit on one of the nuances of a triathlon team traveling. It's easy to get the athletes to the venue. To get their bikes is a whole nother logistical nightmare. And so we've done everything from rent bikes depending on the level of race that we're going to we've flown our bikes before, but a lot of times you have to have the cargo space in the airplane to be able to do that, and you have to get a hold of the airlines to make sure we can fly as many bikes as we want to. And then for the national championships, my husband actually drove our bikes. It ended up being over 3,000 miles from Black Hills down to Tempe and back, which was
Holy
great
cow.
to have them there when we needed them, and to know that they, sometimes when you fly your bikes, they get dinged, and you have some mechanical issues that you have to deal with on the other end. So,
Well, that's what I was going to say is,
Yeah.
you see these bags coming down the conveyor belt, and they're just all dented. And I remember I got a brand new bag once, and I was like, yes, this is going to be great. Came out from the first flight on my layover, or when I finally landed, and I was like, holy cow, what did they do? Drag this through the mud?
Exactly, yeah.
So I couldn't imagine, something, and those bikes are very technical. I mean, you think a bicycle, you think 2 wheels and a chain and pedals, but with those bikes, it's a lot more intense because everything is precise. I mean, there's a difference between the $130 bike at Walmart and, these tens of thousands of dollar bikes that they use. And it's because they're that technical and they're made of that great of, quality, I guess, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but like stuff, I guess, like quality metals and just quality things. So yeah, just shipping those on a plane would make me very nervous, as I'm sure it makes you very nervous.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. These aren't the Huffy that you used to ride. No, they're made a lot of carbon fiber frames right now, which gives them, they're so light. However, they're also easily cracked and broken. And I mean, you're correct when you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars that we're entrusting in the belly of an airplane. So.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Because I mean, those bike frames, just that alone is, thousands of dollars.
Right.
You're not counting the chain. You're not counting the sprockets. You're not counting brakes, wheels, everything. It's just, it all adds up so quick. So yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
All the stuff I'm learning, it's fantastic. I love it. So, moving forward into the spring season, we kind of hinted on what you're going to do as far as training, but what are the keys for moving into a spring season, and what are the ladies going to be focusing on?
They're just going to be focusing on improving their drafting skills on the bike. Now, we were really fortunate all fall to be able to be outside, did draft practice 2 or 3 times a week, because it's very skill based. You know, you can ride a bike fast, but if you're in a draft pack and you can't corner and brake and do all that stuff, it's useless. So we'll focus on that. However, we'll be on trainers, indoor trainers, and so it changes up our bike workouts a lot, and so we're just power focused, and we do a lot of different type of workouts that way. We'll probably stay on the pool deck to do our training mostly because Florida has the heat and humidity that we'll be going to in March. But it's really just improving our skills in all 3 disciplines, and just, you know, progressing. It's season over season and year over year with the team. So.
Well, I'm just curious. So you brought up drafting practice and that it's very skill-based. I guess, can you describe in very layman's terms for me what drafting training looks like?
Well, there's an adage in triathlon that you want to pull longer, not harder. So it's not a matter of getting to the front of a draft pack and then trying to drop them. Everyone's using each other, whether they're competitors or not. You all know that each person in that draft pack, if it's an efficient pack, is making the others, you know, better and faster. And the advantage that we have being a strong running team is we can hang with most draft packs, and then we trust our run that we're going to leave those gals that are in the draft pack with us. So it's not a matter of trying to drop them, it's a matter of trying to use them to conserve some energy, you know, on the bike, or to ride faster and then count on your run. And the pulls that they normally take are like 30-second pulls, so it's constantly switching these draft packs over, and they can get upwards of 25 to 30 miles an hour depending on where they are on some courses. So it's really kind of a well-oiled machine if you have athletes that know what they're doing. If you know, and I mean, it's kind of really different levels of skills at this in these races, and so if you get with some athletes that aren't as comfortable in draft packs, then it's not as efficient, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're just trying to keep up, right? Let alone trying to figure out the draft.
And a lot of times they won't take a pull. I mean, we've had every race almost. There's, you know, my athletes will say, she just sat behind me and never did take a pull and let me do all the work. And, you know, you just can't let that get into your head, and you have to realize, well, irregardless, you're going to get her on the run.
Yeah, exactly. You're with her, you'll take her out.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Coach, thank you so much. And we look forward to see you in the spring when you host here. And that's on campus, correct?
That's correct. We're going to be doing a pool swim. We hope the weather will be such that we can ride and run outside. So it's on April 24th, and we'll be busy putting that together, and I'll let you know more about that when it all comes together.
Absolutely. We'll be talking to you in the future. Up next, we have head basketball coach Ryan Thompson. Don't go anywhere.
While you're visiting Spearfish, stop into Lucky's 13 for half-price drinks and appetizers every weekday from 4:30 to 6. Need an exciting venue to host your next event? Look no further than our party room. Unwind at Lucky's 13, just off exit 14 in Spearfish.
Welcome back. Right now we're joined with Black Hills State University men's basketball coach Ryan Thompson. How are you, Coach?
Doing all right. How are you, Colton?
Doing fantastic. The men picked up 2 wins this weekend, 1 in overtime. What excites you about what you saw in these games this weekend?
Well, the first night I thought we executed our game plan really well, played it really hard on the defensive end, and I thought we looked like the team we're capable of being. I thought Arkansas Fort Smith played pretty well, and you know, we were, you know, successful on both ends of the court. The second night, I don't think we played near as well. You know, just our defensive intensity wasn't as good. Credit Oklahoma Christian with playing well, but you know, just felt like we weren't the same team. But the positive side, we shoot 2 of 22 from 3, and you know, didn't play our best game on the defensive end and still find a way to win. So you know, credit to our guys for stepping up and making tough plays late in the game and finding a way to win even when we did not have our A game.
No, that summarizes it very well. I mean, you know what you were talking about, the 2 for 22 from 3. That's and still win the game. That's still very, very good. When you said that number, I didn't even see that. So, wow.
Yeah, you would think we were like shooting with our left hand the whole game or something like that. We could throw in at least 3, but no, it's it's just part of the game. You go through those ebbs and flows, and you got to deal with it.
Yeah, there's just some days where it seems like there's a lid over the basket. That's something we'll joke about on game day when we're producing the show. We'll just say, all right, who put the lid on the basket, or, what's going on with that hoop? We can't make anything right now. So these were your first 2 games, being both non-conference. How important to you is it to play these non-conference games before the conference schedule starts?
Yeah, they're huge. There's no way to prepare for games outside of playing them. And so we've tried to schedule accordingly with playing 5 Division II teams and testing ourselves. All teams are quality teams, and this weekend against Northern State and Augustana, they're 2 teams I think will be ranked and will be right there as 2 of the better teams in the country. So, not only are we playing games, but we're playing quality competition and learning a lot about our team and hopefully improving each week and hitting our stride as we hit the RMAC conference games here in a few weeks.
Yeah, you mentioned Augustana and Northern, which is the East-West Challenge upcoming this weekend, and also South Dakota Mines is going to be going with you guys over there. These are going to be some well-built teams that make sure you bring your work boots to play. I mean, these are very good teams. What are some of the things you have to look for when you are playing these games?
Yeah, well, we're just trying to dive into that film now today. We were so focused on ourselves here yesterday and identifying how we did over the weekend. But at a first glance, both teams are well coached. We know that, really talented, and they both have a good front line. So our ability to guard their post players and limit their shots in the paint and keep them off the glass, I know that's going to be a big key to it. And then it's a fun thing. We've had some close games here. Did not get to play last year with the COVID restrictions, but the 2 years prior to that, we played in the East-West Challenge, and really exciting for our fan base. Get to really showcase how good basketball there is in the state of South Dakota at the Division II level, and I know our fan base is excited, and I know our guys will be up for the challenge, and getting to play competition like this will be really good for us.
Fantastic. So going back to the first 2 games we've played, reading through our press release by our awesome sports information department headed by sports information director Riley Baker.
I'm going to stop you right there. He's the best in the RMAC. It's not close. So.
Oh, I know it. Yeah. I know it. Just no competition. Yeah. No competition. But I couldn't help but see that there are some household names in this release that we can always see from past years. I mean, you got Joel Scott, Sindhu Cisse, Sava Dukic. But these aren't your only players with skill, however. I mean, you have a lot of skill on your team. And can you tell us a little bit about some of the skill you're looking for from your team this year and what you look forward to as we come to our home game December 3rd?
Yeah, well, you kind of hit it on the head. I think everyone knows about a few of our guys, and Joel Scott going into his 3rd year and being probably the best player in the RMAC his first 2 years, and Adam Musa and Sindhu Cisse and Sava Dukic and Tommy Donovan, and so we have a veteran team, and that makes our job as coaches a little easier and raises the expectation level for this season. But one of our strengths is our depth. We played 9 guys the first 2 nights. And we have a couple guys outside of that could contribute as well. So our young bigs are a big key to our season. We're playing 3 sophomores in Riker Cicerik, Ryder Kirsch, and John Shanklin, and all 3 of those guys are really bought into playing extremely hard and knowing that their minutes might vary day to day based on the matchup, but their effort level and just how hard they compete doesn't waver, and we've been really pleased with those 3 guys. They all do different things. Ryder Kirsch gives you a little more perimeter game and shoots it. Riker Cicerik really long and also can play outside. Both of those guys are excellent passers. And then John Shanklin gives you a little more of that, traditional big and rim protection defensively. He had 4 monster dunks in that second game, and we certainly don't win without his inside presence. And then Kalyn Hearn is a true freshman. He's the one newcomer that's playing right now, which speaks a lot, to his abilities for him to be getting that kind of role early in the year. I think he had some nerves that first weekend. This past weekend didn't play great, but we look for him to have a huge year. He's one of our best perimeter defenders, has a college body or college-ready body with his athleticism and size as a true freshman, and is a good shooter as well. So those are some of our new guys, or some of the guys maybe people aren't as aware of, but play a huge role in what kind of season we're going to have this year.
Well, Coach, thank you for taking the time with us, and best of luck this weekend. First game is Friday against Augustana, and tip-off is at 4 p.m. We'll be back in a second with volleyball head coach Kristen Carmichael.
Thank you, Colton, and thank you for doing this and everything you do for our athletic department. You're awesome as well. We got the best crew in the RMAC here behind the scenes. So
hey, we try. Thank you, Coach.
Heard through word of mouth that Joe and Karen were looking at retiring, and my wife and I looked into it, decided we wanted to do something different. I knew the business would work by visiting with Joe and Karen, looking at things, but I needed a bank. I went and visited with Pioneer Bank and set it up the way we wanted, and everything worked. So they've been great. The rest is history. Here I am. Pioneer Bank and Trust is local.
And welcome back to Inside the Hive. Right now we have Black Hills State University volleyball head coach Kristen Carmichael. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Colton.
So the 2021 season is now in the books. We had the Parents' Day game and the Senior Day game, all of which had plenty of tears and hugs.
Yes.
The first game was against the number 10 team in the nation. Although the ladies were competitive, it still didn't go your way. What was it like to play Colorado Mines?
Colorado Mines is very gifted. They've basically spent the whole year in the top 25, and I would say the majority of conference play in the top 10. They just don't give you any points. They're never going to make errors, and they're not going to give you points freely. You have to go earn them. They have good middles. Setter's been there a long time, runs a good offense. So I was really pleased, though, with how we played. I thought we came out aggressive. I thought we served well. I thought our ball control was really keeping us in system, which allowed us to use our tempo that Colorado Mines isn't used to seeing. So I thought that was kind of an advantage for us at that game. And it was always good to recognize the parents. But yeah, I was overall pleased with that match. It's hard to bring that caliber of team into your last weekend of conference play, but I thought we handled them pretty well.
Yeah, watching from the side, it just felt like your ladies were still the competition. Like, you see a lot of those games where you go in and, you have an unranked team playing a ranked team. And a lot of people just take it as, oh, this team's going to beat this one by a lot. But that game, it didn't feel like that. It felt like any other, not just any other volleyball game,
right,
but a volleyball game to where it's competitive throughout the entire game. It wasn't like, all of a sudden we dropped a set 10-25 or anything. It was, what was it, 17-25, I think was the first set,
I think
something
so,
like that.
And then into the 20s after that, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so, it was a competitive game from the start, which, to your point, that was very true and very good to watch.
Yeah.
The Senior Day game this weekend was against Chadron State, which was a clean 3-0 win for the Yellow Jacket ladies. What was mentally going on into that game, not only going off of a loss to Colorado Mines, but also for it being Senior Day?
Yeah, honestly, I think it kind of was a nice little push-finish feeling. I felt really like the underclassmen wanted to give those three seniors like a nice send-off. From a volleyball standpoint, it couldn't be more different than the Colorado Mines game. They're really heavy middle, they run fast tempo to the pins, and I felt like Chadron's a little different than that. They like to run a high ball to the pins, so it was kind of us getting used to the variety, between Friday and Saturday. There were emotions, there always will be, especially when you got females, but it was great. I felt like specifically the three seniors statistically played well, which was awesome for their last game in the Young Center and their last game ever. But as a group, I thought we really did a good job, had good emotional control during the match, even though there were tears before and tears after. I felt like during the match, we were there to win.
Yeah, and you could see that. And not only were they there to win, they were there to have fun.
Absolutely.
That's what I noticed. Just watching them, say they made a mistake. They got up, smiled, and they went back and they fixed that mistake. They didn't make it again.
Yeah.
So it was just great to watch that great to watch them have fun. But speaking of senior day, what is it like to see student athletes come in as freshmen and see them play their final game as a senior?
Bittersweet for sure. Ton of growth with those three, especially. Coach Bree, new to the program, she actually went back in the website and looked at those three's freshman year photos, and she's like, oh my gosh, they look like babies. And so it's kind of funny just to see how much they change, physically, mentally, they grow up. It's fun. Those three have put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the program. We're going to miss Peyton, Sierra, and Katie a lot. I think they left the program in a good place and ready for the next group of seniors and leaders to come through there. But every year it's like never the same. No team's ever the same, and it'll definitely be different without them.
Yeah, just seeing like this 18-year-old come in and have this whole new experience, because it's completely different.
Yes.
And to see that, watch them grow the 4 years and, become a better person, become more of an adult.
Yes.
Through that transition just has to be something very rewarding to watch.
Definitely.
Moving into the winter and spring training season, we know that you are excited to have a normal, non-COVID year, right?
Yeah.
What are the ladies looking forward to the most outside of course, some time off?
Yeah, I think honestly it'll come down to that individualized training. Volleyball's unique. We come in, we have a week of 2-a-days, and then it's basically like, here you go, got to play some games. And so if you come in with some bad habits or some things we want to kind of change about your technique, it kind of has to wait for the off season. And so I feel like they're really looking, specifically our underclassmen, looking forward to kind of that time where they can work on their craft, get better at their individual skills, and really break it down and get kind of individualized instruction.
Gotcha. So, end of the season, bittersweet.
Yes.
It's basically everything you've been working for, all the success, all the, things that have happened, it's over.
Right.
So, yes, bittersweet. But now, what are you looking forward to the most?
Honestly, recruiting season is heating up. Excited to kind of get out there and find some more talent locally and nationally. We'll be at a bunch of different tournaments, headed to the South Dakota State tournament at the end of this week. So
that's in Rapid, right?
It is in Rapid. We love it over here at West River. But yeah, we're excited to go out and watch that. I'm excited about individual instruction. You see, nothing's more different than a freshman going through their spring season. Like, they just blossom and grow, and it's like you see it actually click. And so looking forward to that. And then selfishly, I'm looking forward to a little bit more time with my family.
Absolutely. It was really funny to watch when we were at the game. Your daughters, I think, were sitting right behind the head table.
Yep.
And I remember you walked up, and I think it was our announcer asked you, where are the girls? And you point, and then you just do the little wave. And I was like, oh, that is so adorable. And I just loved it. But
yep, they love to come watch, and they, know all the players, so they're excited when they get to watch them play.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, it was great to watch you this season. We look forward to talking to you, hopefully, throughout the coming up months.
Perfect.
But anyway, that was our head volleyball coach, Kristen Carmichael, finishing up the season. Next up, we sit down with women's basketball coach, Mark Norrie. We'll be back after this.
When you're looking for great deals on new and pre-owned vehicles, look no further than White's Queen City Motors in Spearfish. We're the #1 certified pre-owned dealer in the state of South Dakota, and White's Queen City Motors was voted the #1 car dealership of the Black Hills. Our service department can take care of all makes and models, and we offer a price match guarantee on tires for your vehicle. At White's Queen City Motors, our main attraction is customer satisfaction. Call us today or stop in at White's Queen City Motors in Spearfish.
This is Inside the Hive, and we have Black Hills State University head women's basketball coach, Mark Norrie. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Don't make fun of my voice. Yeah. Come on.
I'm good. Thank you.
Good. So you just returned from Minot in your preseason opener against Minot State, falling by only 3 points on Friday, but coming back for a win on Saturday by 1 point. What did you see during those games that excites you about this season?
I loved our energy. I liked how we defended. We held them to 55 points both nights, which usually, on the other end of that, we would hopefully we can manufacture some more points. I think it's 55, 52 or whatever on Friday, and 56, 55 on Saturday, and so there's improvement there. But I just loved our energy. I loved how we defended, and I loved how the team fought.
You were talking about that energy, and actually that leads right into my second question. I know that every game is important, but coming off a loss on Friday, were the ladies looking for that win even harder coming into Saturday?
Yeah, I think that a little redemption. I mean, they're a competitive group, and I know that they, it's what we talked about, is just wanting it more and having to make plays. And if they could take one or two possessions back, doing the right things, because the third quarter on Friday night really got us. And so we wanted to make sure that we were a lot more consistent. But they showed a lot of guts, and definitely the way this team is and just how competitive they are. I mean, we were down 10 in the fourth on Saturday, and they showed a lot of courage coming back. And a lot of it had to do with what you said, Colton, just their mindset was right.
Absolutely. That's one thing I can see on their faces, at least in the past, watching their games, you could see when they just have that drive, when they're, maybe down, where other teams might give up. Our ladies are just like, no, we're buckling down, we're going to get this done. And so it's great that's still there.
Thank you.
Well, my third question is, this weekend, currently you have, you and the team are headed off to Wayne, Nebraska, and also you're going against University of Sioux Falls. How did the games in Minot prepare you and the ladies to go up against these teams?
Well, experience is invaluable. I mean, just the more game situations we can put ourselves in. And in fact, I had a couple freshmen. I mean, we have 5 new freshmen this year, and 6. I take that back. We have 7 freshmen, and then 8 new players this year. And so the 7 freshmen, I mean, I had a kid come up and just say, wow, that was so amazing, but such an eye-opener to see, and to feel like why we practice the way we do, or just the importance of carryover and being consistent. So that alone is just invaluable. I mean, you can't put a measuring stick on that. And so definitely every game we get, I feel like we're going to get better. I thought our mindset was different, even in yesterday in practice. But playing on the road, I mean, you have to be 10 points better because of, the crowd and just not used to the surroundings. The lighting's always different. The travel, you look at, we spent 8.5 hours on a bus, traveling up to Minot because the weather was bad, and getting off, and it's just it's a lot to it. So just all those, not even just the experiences on the court, but just getting used to being on a bus and traveling and understanding how hard that is. And I think a lot of people don't necessarily understand that piece of it, but definitely prepares us for Wayne for this next road trip, and I feel like we're just going to continue to get better through this.
Fantastic. That's one thing. With high schools, generally, they're traveling anywhere between hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, unless you get into the AAAs and stuff like that. Then it's maybe 6 hours long, but, when you're getting up to that 8-hour range, and I think it's, 13 hours down to Alamosa from here?
I lose track after 10. after 6, once we get to Denver, it's
then it's much, just fall asleep and.
But it's a lot. Yeah, I want to say it's around there. Yeah.
Yeah, and so getting the student athletes to realize this isn't high school travel anymore. It's full on. We're riding a bus for this long, and then we got to get out and play after that. It's not getting out and relaxing once we get there.
Yeah, and that's what they said too. Is that college is so different than high school, and knowing that, I try to tell parents too to just allow kids to fail and allow coaches to coach their kid up hard, because the expectations, these kids are they can do so much more, and we try to create that sense of urgency and sense of consistency through our practices, and I think that's what we've kind of instilled, and every coach that we've gone against, whether it was the scrimmages with the JUCOs or even at Minot, the one thing that they said is, I can't believe how hard your kids play. And that's a huge thing for me, because when you play with intensity or practice with intensity, there's going to be improvement, and that's how you gain confidence. And so that's a pride thing, and every time I hear it, I mean, that's something that I know that, you know, you can't put a price tag on that, because we have really quality young ladies that will give it up for each other. So that's a huge thing to have, and I'm proud of them for that.
I would be too, Coach. So speaking of long travel, you have a couple games that are coming up in Hawaii. You have Hawaii Pacific and Walsh University, Ohio, which I still think you need to take me on. You know, you need a videographer. You need someone to capture all that stuff, but I'll forgive you, I guess. What are you and the team looking forward to outside of the sandy beaches and warm weather in Hawaii?
Number one, getting everyone there. We might have to. It's been, you know, it's that piece of it has been really, you know, and thankful for my assistant coaches, and Coach Bonlander has been on it. But there's a lot to this whole thing, and making sure everyone gets tested the way we need to get tested, and the vaccinated and unvaccinated, and those types of things. But it's an opportunity for us. Like, we haven't been on a trip like this for a long time, and just looking for the opportunity to grow as a team. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, it's a trip of a lifetime. I've never been to Hawaii. I think most of the players on the team have never been there, and so we're going to take advantage of, like, definitely the culture there and get that experience. We're going to have a good time, and that's just something that you know, you can't put a price tag on that either. So the teams we play both teams are top 20 in the country, and so we have a really good challenge, and we're going to see where we kind of measure up too that way. So we'll go down, we'll have fun, we'll compete, and you know, hopefully get some wins out of that deal too.
Sounds good, Coach. Well, thank you for joining us, and good luck on your upcoming games. We're excited for the basketball season to start. That's all the time we have for this episode of Inside the Hive. Be sure to follow Black Hills State University Athletics on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for everything BHSU Athletics. Join us next week for another episode of Inside the Hive, and from all of us here at Black Hills State University Athletics, thank you for joining us, and go Yellow Jackets.
This has been a Black Hills State University Athletics production. Fear the Sting.